Hello, everyone. This is just a quick message pulled from the 100 Acre Arcana. So let's see what the story is today. Okay. So the first card is Ace of Wands. Basically, that's you right now, and you're kind of feeling like this is like someone's shoving you, and it could even be just spirit guides shoving you, and you're like, come on, no, everything's so nice here. It's kind of like when, I don't know, like if you're 18 and your parents are like, hey, if you're gonna go off to college, you're on your own now, like figure it out. You're gonna have to deal with your own cooking, cleaning. You should probably get a part-time job too for some of your expenses, and learn. You have to like, you know, have had had learned to drive a car by then, ideally. Maybe not, maybe you're on campus and you don't need to and things are walking distance, but it's kind of all that stuff. And it's kind of like, even if you have all those skills now, you're just kind of like, why do I need to learn more or do more? Or like, why do I have to leave? Like, it's been good here. I've built this thing. It's been nice. Like, I'm happy. Like, why disrupt things? And the reason you're being shoved is because you're taking too long overthinking. You're taking too long kind of going, well, I need to make my to-do list. I need to like plan and think and make sure everything's checked off, and they're kind of like, no, just go, just do this. Like, if you don't do it now, you'll never do it. And if you keep waiting for perfect time, perfect weather, perfect like everything's in place, like no, because life's not perfect, and we're meant to experience the little bumps in life and all that stuff. Like, it may not seem fun at the time, but later you'll look back and you'll laugh at it, whether it's because that was crazy. Like, I thought that was the craziest thing I went through. Nope, it was fine, whatever. And again, like, this card shows you've been enjoying life. You've been happy. You're like, life is fun. Life is great here. Life is so sweet. It's like every day is sliding down the slide. Wee, fun, not resisting going uphill, the gravity, the work, all that stuff. And that's why they're on you. But they're reminding you, once upon a time, you had this dream, whether it was as a kid. It's time to do this, because why? When are you going to do this? You're going to wait until you're 60, 70, 80, and then there's going to be other stuff. And then your list is going to get longer and longer and longer. All you have to do is start now and just, again, as they always say, take a baby step. So, again, it keeps going back and forth. It's kind of like pros and cons list. And you're like, but look at what I built. Like, it's kind of like if you've planted this seed in your garden. It's like if you see parks and they have all these like big trees, it's because it took so long. And so you're kind of like that. You're like, but look at what I made. They're so big and they're so good. Like, why would I, do all this other stuff? And this devil card is not a scary card. This devil card is two things. It is the stories that scare you, but they're just stories, right? Like, anyone can make a story scary or not. It's like your choice as an author. And the other thing is, sitting around a campfire making stories, yeah, there's going to be shadows, and that's kind of, I don't know, it just, shadows kind of, or things in the dark that go bump, the things that like make the noise or kind of corner your eyes, kind of draw your attention, like, look at me, but look at me more than just side-eyeing me or just sort of hearing me and then running. This is like calling you to face all these things that you think are scary, your long list of trying to like avoid failure, avoid whatever it is. And it's kind of saying you're missing. Again, this, to me, this is like the adventure of Pooh, right? Like it's a journey, it's a story. Like the whole thing is this book you're reading. And so this is your personal book. Like, what are you leaving as a legacy? And do you want to be able to tell the stories, both the good and crazy? Because if the story is just like the same story, people are like, okay, I heard this, you know? But like, think about, you know, how Hollywood, the movies, you're kind of like, oh man, it's the same thing rehashing, you know? They're starting to do trilogies and prequels, and then you start watching movies from other countries, you're like, holy moly, this is so fresh and new to me. So likewise with your own life, you're gonna get to the point where you yourself are gonna feel like, I want this, like I'm gonna dream this again, and I'm gonna dare to imagine, dare to try and tell people, and be like, I'm just gonna do this. I'm gonna hold myself accountable, and I'm gonna share the stories, both good and bad, and you know, they're gonna learn from it. And if not, you'll learn something, because maybe someone will be like, I went through that, and here's what I did, or here's what happened, or here's, you know, that kind of stuff. Because again, going back and forth, now you went from all the pleasant stuff to more of like, but this is what I'm worried about. Like, it's just kind of silly. Like, am I being gluttonous? Am I being greedy? Am I like wanting too much? And then it's, things are gonna overflow and spill, and I'm gonna make a mess. I'm all these things, you know. It's like I ruined the tea party, that kind of stuff. But you have friends. See all those people there? And they are gonna come and give you stuff. Like if you're like, I'm lacking something, and then they're like, oh, I have extra. Or if you're like, shoot, it's broke, and then maybe they're like, hey, I heard you went through this, you know, and I heard you need this. Can I gift this to you? I would buy you a new one, something, you know, just an example, you know, like whatever this is. And then in the end, look at how wonderful your friends are. Look at this. They really are going to help you. And if it's not your friends, it could also be, again, coworkers, colleagues, bosses, other businesses, you know, clients or vendors, business partners, your, you know, even your romantic partner, maybe parents, maybe relatives. Who it is, everyone's gonna be like, all right, we're gonna do this. It reminds me of like a small business shop where at first people are just kind of like, oh, let me give you this and this. And you're in this like rickety little place with sort of like mismatched stuff, but it's so charming, it's so personal, it's so like you and rememberable, you know? And then eventually you start growing, and then you're kind of like, I need a bigger space. And then they're gonna help you move. And then you're like, oh my gosh, this is a lot of work to move, to pack and unpack and to organize. And they're like, we're here. And then they help organize, and then they make it visible, and you too. And so that it's like you can see what you do have, what you don't have, and everything is nice, clean, organized. And it's nicer than you could even have imagined, or like to-do lists, you know. In fact, your to-do list probably didn't include any of this, because you're thinking more about all the fears and covering all that, and you didn't think about all this wonderful stuff instead, you know. If you want to make a to-do list, maybe make a too wonderful list, you know, something that's like which is this next card. Actually funny, I just saw that now. See how the list is now more like a map. It's kind of like giving SOPs, but in a fun way. It's kind of like giving like business plans on a grander scale. It's giving excuse me, kind of like everyone is, if you look here, you would say, oh, the owl is the emperor, he's the one, you know. I'm so sorry. I don't know why in my throat. But then you would also look at the owl, and it's like, is the owl the official signer? You know, like how do I say this? It's kind of like, I don't know. I think about the president of the president and how he or the king could have the crown. Sorry, but then later, like you have his cabinet that's really the one thinking about it, and you have, if you know, in the U.S. you have the state and the senates and the Congress um, who have to sign off on certain things, you know, check and balances. Oh my gosh, what's happening? And then down here you have people that are just doodling, but it kind of reminds you of like when if you're good parents and then you inadvertently inspire the kids, you know, kind of like that. Or like, again, maybe you're doing something on social media, or you know, like it doesn't have to be like the celebrities again anymore, you know, because now there's more visibility and access through social media, and you do it and then someone's like, oh my gosh, I love that, it's so creative, or I think I can do it, like not again to the full scale that you've done and built, but they're like, let me try, and then they might, you know, it's kind of like when TikTok people do those trends or dances, and then everyone starts copying, and then you'll find one person who does it their own very unique, fun, creative, different way. So it's kind of like that, and it's kind of like you've done it your way, and you're gonna inspire, whether it's your kids, your friends, future generation, whatever it is, and it's something like you wouldn't have even thought of. Again, it wouldn't have been in your to-do list. So put it in your too wonderful list. And I don't know, that just keeps popping up in my mind. Like I've never called it a too wonderful list, and I kind of like that concept. Like I might pick that up, you know. So again, you know, you've gone from this like they're having to push you, and you're with your to-do list, to now you have your like the top really did again remind me of like spirit guides kind of pushing you and nudging you, and you know, like come on, it's time, like the deadline's up kind of thing, into like where you're doing it and you have physical earth people helping you, and you don't have to create this list by yourself anymore. You have people creating maps, you know, this whole thing, like beyond a simple list. I don't know, that's the best way I can kind of explain it. So yeah, that's what I got, you guys.